Alright, so Zackary Stock asked if I could do a video that showed this thing a little better. Um, and I'll measure it right here so you can see it in the video. But you can make, whatever size. This is kind of the minimal size I found. It's big enough for my feet. It's big enough for the trees I go on are like about the diameter. The biggest ones I use my two tethers on are about the size of a diameter of a 5-gallon bucket, and that's how I size this V. I laid the bucket on. I get this plate to simulate it, but I laid the bucket on here and kind of gauged where it would hit the side of a tree that size down to maybe a tree the size of this 2-liter. Probably about the smallest tree I'll use. And that's how I size it. I don't know, it's maybe 30 degrees. And 30 degrees up, centered on the board. I'm going to make another one with these holes farther back, because what this one tends to do, and it's not a bad thing with the tether, is when I put my weight on it, because it's the arch of my foot sits right about here through this line, and so this thing kind of treadles back like this, but that matches the angle I lean back in my saddle on, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you had their holes farther back and you made this platform longer, it would be a more stable platform to actually step back on. I wanted this all to be pretty much minimal, so this is how I went with. So the notch here just fits the size of tree. It's kind of, I can measure it. Okay, so the board's just under 18, just under 17 3/4. And I went to the center, and then coming back from this edge, the notch goes to this line. So that's 3 3/4. And then if you measured in 2 inches from each edge and drew lines on your board like that, you could match this V. So 3 3/4 back, center of the board, make a mark 2 inches in and inscribe your line, and that would be that V. These holes just fit the, they were 1/4 inch drill, just fit the wire ties that I had. And these holes, the size for this rope is like 3/8 inch diameter, and the holes are, let's see, 3/4. So it's double. It worked out to be double, but the way this goes forward, this little piece of I split it to get it on there because I didn't want to retie, but that just gives a little bit of tension so this doesn't try to close down on me when I'm setting it up. I might find a better way to do that. The only reason for these, and the only reason that this is glued together, is I had a small piece of plywood. And maybe it was a little too thin, so I just, this is a strip here, and then these two. If I had to make this again, you'd probably just make it out of like 3/4 single piece of 3/4 plywood, or even or even 1 inch. So the holes are double the diameter of whatever rope you got. In this case, it happens to be 3/8 inch diameter. This knot just keeps its place. This knot holds the end. So when we set this on the tree, and this comes up, this comes up, this will go around the tree and through. Let's see. It goes around the tree and through. And the height of this is an alpine butterfly. You could just go around the tree and do an overhand knot. But say this goes around the tree. This goes back in this hole on the right hand side. And then the free end would go around the tree and through this. So that's around the tree. This is up here, is around the tree. And then this comes back under, and I just put it through double, so then if there's enough, if there's enough slack on it. But I've been putting it through double. It's easier to untie it. But so what happens is, this is up here. When I set this, I tip this down and start to put weight on it. And you tighten this up so that you got this as far out as it can go. And this is tight. You get the two sides, these two sides even. And then you have this underneath small, and you pull this line, pull this one until I'm pulling the wrong hand. You pull this one until it gets pretty tight. You pull this till it gets pretty tight on the tree. You pull it pretty tight, and then you try to put your weight on this side first. And what that does is it pulls this tight. And now this won't slip. This won't slip. This rope won't slip through this loop. And then when you put weight on this side, your weight pulls that. You see that? It pulls that tight. So that's how it works. Talk about these holes. So, like I said before, this was my first one, but on this one, they're 5 inches back from this forward edge. Then just say 1.25 inches into the center, and I drilled them with a 3/4 inch or 3/4 inch drill bit. And then I took my knife. I got this knife I used to deburr. Aluminum at work, and then I just give it a funnel shape, in here, so that I can, when I double that line and push it in, it goes in fairly easy. Just funnel it from the top, tapered, but you don't want it big or tapered too much on the bottom, because you're relying on, you want to break the edge so it doesn't cut into your rope, but you're relying on that hole to be the right size so it doesn't try to pull this line in. That's really all there is to it. This was half of a rubber hose. If I had to do it again, I would just split a length of a rubber hose and open it up so it wrapped around the top and bottom more, and maybe even drill more holes and go with you could go with a paracord wrapped around and tied on one end, or you tie it on both ends. But you can see here one of the wire ties broke on me. Other than that, it's you know, it's light. I think let's see, I can kind of got to size the rope for, you know, your needs, but if we can get an idea. So we're looking at 8, 16. Say that's 1.5 feet, right? That's 1.5 feet. Then we got with that knot, probably makes it 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 plus 1.5 feet. I'm gonna say 16, 17, 18 feet would work for most trees. This is a tree the size of a diameter of a 5-gallon bucket doesn't leave a whole ton of slack on the end under here when it's all set up. And as far as the height of this knot, you kind of have to go with what works for you. If you tie this alpine butterfly, the way you tie that is you put your hand here and go 3 loops and reach under and pull the center one through, and then push it over the top and pull it through all. And you end up with, dress it up, you'll end up with this where the 2 lines are parallel on one side and they cross on the other side. And that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, I'm up in the saddle. Zoom out here. The first time using it rifle season. These does, there's a swamp back that way, and then there's a 2-track there. They cross and they go up into the hardwoods up all along there, up that slope. There's a lot of oaks, a lot of acorns. But I wanted to show a supplement. I believe it was Zach that was asking about the platform, and I had said to put an alpine butterfly here. I've since went back. This is the way to go. And I just put that knot. You see that knot on the left? That knot is just a marker for me about where to set that. It seems to end up in the right place there. So That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna sit here till dark and